Îmi cer scuze pentru întârziere, dar am avut nevoie de o mică pauză între opening event și acest webinar. Sper că concurenții văd că sunt destul de puțini online și sper că ne urmăresc ceilalți pe YouTube. Dacă nu, acest webinar oricum va rămâne înregistrat. Numai că dacă intrați pe Teams, și vă rog să intrați pe Teams, găsiți linkul pe Teams pe site-ul concursului he.pb.ro Live Sessions și acolo vedeți un buton cu Live Sessions, dați click pe el și s-a schimbat linkul. Nu mai este cel din deschidere, este cel de pe Antreprenoria Digital și ca să puteți adresa întrebări trebuie să fiți pe acest Teams. Bun, să începem, să intrăm în pâine. Oaspeții noștri, sau să spunem lecturers, profesorii sau nu știu, de la acest webinar sunt domnul Cristian Mustață, profesor în cadrul Facultății de Inginerie în Limbi Străine. Bună, Cristi, mulțumesc că ne ajuți și anul acesta. Apoi îl avem aici pe domnul Constantin Cristian Ghioc de la Lenovo, care s-a alăturat echipei noastre anul acesta, și domnul Bogdan Nicolae Trau de la Amber Studios, care ne va face o prezentare foarte, să spunem, aplicată, așa e corect, jocurilor video. Eu voi fi moderatorul sesiunii și voi da, mă numesc Maria Dascălu, am uitat să spun, să mă prezint, ceea ce este o greșeală mare. Le fac observația asta tuturor studenților, dar uite că și eu o fac. Și eu vă voi da cuvântul. Am făcut introducerea în română, dar toate webinariile noastre vor avea loc în engleză, care bănuiesc că e înțeleasă de toată lumea, pentru că prezentările voastre finale vor fi într-una din cele 3 limbi, engleză, franceză sau germană. Nu vă faceți griji, avem un juriu cunoscători al fiecărei limbi. Okay, let's switch to English. Welcome to the Digital Entrepreneurship webinar, and thank you our lecturers for joining us, and I will give the floor to Professor Cristian Mustață from the Faculty of Engineering in Foreign Languages. Cristi, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Maria, and many thanks to my other 2 colleagues with whom I shared the workshop today. So you have an idea for this contest for hardcore entrepreneurship, or you have other ideas that you would like to implement in the future for yourselves. But the question is, in today's workshop, not only what idea should I have or how can I improve my idea. Here you will have other technical workshops in the next weeks. But the question is, how can I launch it? How can I make a business out of it? How can I be an entrepreneur if I have some very interesting idea? So this is about our workshop today. And now I will share my screen. And I just ask you if anybody can tell me, do you see a presentation on the share screen? Okay, thank you, Maria. So I am the first presenter, and it's good so that you know something about me. I'm 48. I have 2 wonderful daughters, 8 and 6 years old. I teach marketing and technology entrepreneurship a long time here in Polytechnica, 25 years, in German and in English. I did my PhD in the field of engineering and management with a professor from Germany, Professor Specht from Technische Universität Darmstadt. So my whole idea about how I teach and what I teach was shaped by Germany and with a special thanks to my PhD professor, Professor Specht. And something personal, I believe we are here to evolve, to learn how to be deeply happy, how to discover ourselves and mirror our own potential in the world. And my passions are for personal development, sustainable way of life, ethical intelligence. There is this component that says intelligence is not just the IQ. It has many dimensions, and one of them is being ethical, because on the long term, being ethical brings a lot of advantages, not only for our mind, but also for our soul. I am creativity trainer. I like informal communication. So if you have a question, don't worry that I mind being interrupted. You can interrupt me. You can call me Christy. You should not formalize yourself with me. I like strategic games. I like business simulation. I also organize each year a free business simulation for high school students. I like hiking. I play football every week. That would be me. But enough of me. Let's go to the content. The overview of my presentation. Why are we here? What is interesting in this field of digital entrepreneurship? Then we will talk about competitive advantage. What is it? How does it help a big or a small company to make a difference on the market? Then we will analyze what options we have for the 4 Ps. This is the marketing mix for an app. And we have the product, price, promotion, and placement. And then we will go into a more interesting part with my 2 colleagues, where they will tell you about practical details, shared experience. And all along, we will, all 3 of us, we will build upon dialogue with you. You can ask questions anytime. If somebody turns on their microphone and asks a question, it's not a problem or something bad, it's good, then the presentation can have a welcome break, and I will answer the question. So you can interrupt me anytime. Okay, why are we here? What is the potential of this digital market, or the market we access when we make an app that is suitable for different phones, smartphones? The potential is huge. You can access practically the global market. So this is also the main advantage. If you make an app and you can launch it on App Store, on Google Play, and so on, people from all over the world will be able to use your app. This is the good part. The bad part is also you have some great competition there. You have one nice app, but there are millions of apps inside, and it is hard to become visible. And it is hard for you to convince people to pay something for your app, for using your app. And we will talk about these challenges, and we will find solutions in the workshop. But first of all, the main foundation of any business, including an app-based business, yes, is to have a competitive advantage, to make a difference, to make it somehow that the customers or the users perceive your app and your products different, better, nicer to use than the others on the market. And you can have practically 2 dimensions of being better, of having this advantage. One is with effectiveness. If you make products that serve your customers better. You understand their needs, what they want. If it's a game, what do they want from this game, from this type of games? If it's an app that, I don't know, solves an orientation problem, works with the GPS or something, what do people need when they install such an app, and so on and so forth. If your app brings more performance, more benefits to the customers, then you have a differentiation with better relative effectiveness. Relative means comparing to other apps on the market or to other competition products. And the other possible dimension is efficiency. If you are more efficient, so your ratio of cost and quality is good, then you have low costs with good quality, and in that case you can offer, if you are more efficient than your competitors, you can offer a cost advantage to your customers. So if you rely on efficiency, your customers will have a cost advantage. They will say, I can use this good product for lower costs. Or if you are better in effectiveness, they will have a net performance advantage. They will say, yes, there's nothing like this app for this type of needs that I have. And if you can combine both to be more effective than your competition and more efficient, which is ideal, then you have an absolute competitive advantage. Then your app or your product is a total winner. If you are worse in both dimensions, then you are in the unpleasant position of absolute disadvantage. So it's a thing you have to think about it. What is your focus? Where have you chances to be better than what is on the market? And you can think about these two dimensions, efficiency and effectiveness. Now we will go to the 4P for an app. What do we make? We have a product, of course. This is the first P, product. You need to put some questions. For which group is this product? Because a product might be better for some people and less interesting for others. And usually if you want to make it the best for everybody, you might not succeed because different groups have different needs. And it's hard to make a product that makes everybody extremely happy. So you need to ask yourself, which is the group, which is the segment of the market, who do I intend this product to serve? What are my main customers? Are they students? Are they grown-ups? Are they elderly people? Are they kids? Yes. Because if you answer correct, what is the group, your target group, let's say, then you can ask the next question. What are their needs? What do they want from a product like this? And if you answer this question correctly, then you have a clue what to put in your product. Yes. And of course, the third question, okay, they have these needs. This is my group. But what are their alternatives? If they don't use my app, what are the other apps on the market? What is my competition? It's always good to know what a competition does, because this way you can differentiate. You can bring something that adds value to the competition products in your product. And of course, you have then to implement the answers to these three questions. How do I make the products better for my customers than what everything else is on the market? You can make interesting functions that solve some problems that your customers have. But of course, everything must also look good. So another point is the design. Both are important. The functions, if it's not solving anything in a useful way, then it's a pity that it's nice. And if it's very good in the functions, but the design is lacking, then it's a pity because many customers will not discover the good functions of your product because if they don't like the design, they might think the quality of the functions is also bad and they don't come to test it. So you need to work on both functions and design. Now the pricing, the price is the second P from these 4P. You can have a cost per download. You deliver a complete product for a defined price. Your problem is if you are at your first app that nobody knows you and it's hard to convince people to pay some money, even if it's €1. So a small amount of money or €5. If your product is unknown in the market, then you have better chances to go with the other strategy with a freemium product. Freemium means you give a basic product for free and it must be also already good. They must try it out and like it. And then you also need to have some means to make money with your app. If you give everything for free, it's not so good. And here you have more options. You can deliver the complete product for free, but for a limited time. Let's say 1 week, 1 month, 2 months. Yes. People test it. They begin to love it, to like it. And after that time, if they still want to use it, they need to pay. So this is one possibility when you make this freemium product in your pricing. You start with free. They say, okay, it's for free. Maybe I try it. And if they try it and it's nice, then maybe they want to pay. The other option is a premium download for a price. And they get something, additional resources. In games, they also can get decrease of waiting time, faster game progress, and so on. So the game is free, but if you want to use it better, you have to pay something. Or they can get these features, the premium features, not for paying money, but for watching ads. They watch the ads, they don't pay anything, they pay with their time, and you win money from the advertising that are included. And of course, after this, if you have this option with a limited trial time, then there is a price to make it unlimited or a yearly subscription and so on. So this is about pricing, how you can start free and then still make money if your product is good and it convinces customers. Now promotion. How do we promote our products and where? Of course, you must be promoted there where your customers are. If they watch TikTok, you need to be on TikTok. If they watch YouTube, you need to be on YouTube, and so on. And the best thing that can happen to you is if you have viral elements, if you have some jokes related somehow with your product. So your ad is actually extremely funny and people send it for fun among each other. Then you can have the chances to become known in a very short time. If you find out how to make this viral marketing. But you need to embed very interesting things. You need to have jokes and let's say the surprise element. So people like what they see so much that they send it to their friends. Practically, they help you with advertising for free. But then the content must be brilliant, of course, the content of your ad. And the last P, the placement. You need, of course, distribution channels for your apps. And usually you will program them from different operating systems. And in order to make distribution through Google Play, for Android phones, App Store, and so on. This is in the beginning, let's say, the main option. later, when you are a stronger company and you have ties to phone manufacturers, you can also negotiate directly there to have your app integrated for free in the new phones. Yes. And then if some phones are sold well and they come with your app already installed, customers will try it out. It's for free, but you make money with this freemium strategy that we spoke. What is our takeaway from this story, from my presentation? To summarize, we need to have something that makes us different, to understand our customers and to give them some very good experience with our app. In the beginning, usually we need to start with a free product and then make money with premium features. The free product must already be good. If everything that is good is in the premium features, then it will not have time to convince. So you must give something of value for free. Then they know your product, they like your product, and then they want some more features that you give for money. And yeah, that would be it. Do you have questions? If you have live questions now, please open your microphone and ask them. If not, you have here my contact details. You can write me on WhatsApp. You can write me an email. I'm open to your questions also later. And if we don't have questions now, enough theory. Let's hear about some real experiences from my colleagues. I'm giving the word back to Maria to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you very much, Cristi. Thank you. Now I give the floor to Mr. Constantin Cristian Ghioc from Lenovo.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Constantin, and I will present to you today 8 core concepts for digital entrepreneurs. And a little about myself. I started my IT career as a one-man show in pretty small companies, and then I moved to different other companies. I became a specialized expert, worked in multinational companies. I also had a significant journey as an entrepreneur. Around 11 years, I've been providing consulting on desktop networking solutions, web hosting services, and IT security was also another area of interest for me. And in my professional life as an employee, I have taken different roles like system administrator, team lead, IT manager, IT architect, and I touched so many of the IT areas, servers, virtualization, networking, backup, mobile device management, public clouds. I have experience with project management, APIs, scripting, programming, and I'm sure a few other I forgot about it. Back in my entrepreneurship time, I was at the same time I was CEO of my company, but I had multiple hats because in the world of entrepreneurs, usually you wear a lot of hats. I was head of sales, I was chief financial officer, I was chief technology officer, I was the project manager, the legal advisor, and sometimes I was even junior accountant. So in this world of entrepreneurship, you must be ready to do multiple things. And I'm also proud to say I'm a co-leader of VMware User Group Romania community, and it's important for me to be part of a community which allows me to share my knowledge and experience, but also allows me to learn from all other people. Enough about me. Let's go to the content. Today, I'll introduce you to a few concepts which, in my opinion, are essentials for most of the digital entrepreneurs. I'll talk about personal branding, leadership, about how to fail fast, about VUCA. You must admit that's at least an interesting acronym. I'll talk about how to sell your product, about customer validation, digital marketing, and about financial management. Christian talked about what is digital entrepreneurship earlier. I'll also give my take here. My opinion, this is about using digital technologies to create and innovate and grow new businesses. And with the rise of the internet and social media and mobile devices, this has become a popular and an easy way for everybody to really be able to start their own businesses and pursue their passions, because you need to have a passion in the field that you want to be active. At the same time, digital entrepreneurship has the advantage of offering a low barrier to entry for many people. If you have the right skills and the right tools, it's easy to start today a business online from anywhere in the world, from Romania, which, by the way, now it's part of EU, so we have a big market right next to us. And that means that individuals like us who may have been excluded from traditional, brick and mortar businesses due to lack of funding. You need a lot of money to open a brick and mortar business, or maybe due to factors like geography. We're in Eastern Europe, not Western Europe. Market is smaller here, but there are now we can start our own businesses, and we can at least reach a regional audience. Then another interesting fact about digital entrepreneurship is the rapid innovation and experimentation. We are able today to quickly test and iterate on ideas, and we can bring new products or services to market faster than we did it in the past with traditional means. And the last point I have here is that digital entrepreneurship offers a massive flexibility and autonomy. You have the ability to work from anywhere, and you have the ability to manage your own schedule. So you can pursue your passions exactly on your own terms. But at the same time, do not confuse flexibility with the amount of work performed, because in many cases, entrepreneurs will work many more hours per week than an employee. I'll move to the next one, which is personal branding. And it may seem odd initially, but personal branding is essential for entrepreneurs. And you can ask me, what's the correlation between your personal brand and the brand of your company? Well, when you embark in small entrepreneurship adventures, the image of the startup is the image of the founders. As time goes by and hopefully the startup becomes a successful business, those images may separate, but initially they are one and the same. So personal branding can help you with credibility, can help you with increased visibility. And how are you going to do this? You will start by defining your personal brand. You will include your values, your mission, your vision, which are your unique selling points. And then you're going to develop a strategy for building your personal brand, which will include your goals. What do you want to achieve with this strategy? What is your target audience? What is your message? And you need to also decide where do you want to share your messages. You have to maintain a consistent brand image and have the same message across all the platforms that you choose to communicate on. And most importantly, it's networking. You have to build relationships with people from the industry through collaboration, partnership, and if you will only take one idea from this slide, you need to take this one. You have to grow your network, and that will help you in many ways that you cannot even imagine. Moving on to leadership. One question here: what is leadership? I think leadership is the ability to inspire, to motivate, and to guide your team towards a common goal and vision. And this is critical for small teams, for startups, for digital entrepreneurs. You need to be able to lead your team towards success. Leadership is about building relationships, exactly like I said on the previous slide. But this time is about building trust and respect with the team that you lead. And good leaders need to communicate effectively with the team members, and they need to create a shared sense of purpose and direction. Listening, that's an important characteristic of a good leader. You need to be able to listen to concerns, suggestions from the team members, which can help you to make better decisions. That's the most important thing. But it will also help you to build stronger relationship with your team. You also need to create a psychological safety environment. The team members must feel comfortable to share their thoughts with you and their ideas without fearing any judgment or negative consequences. And a good leader must lead by example. So you need to show a positive behavior. You need to have a positive attitude, and you need to inspire your team members to do the same. And you need to set a good example, which in the end will help to build trust and respect. And the last point for leadership is the ability to provide direction and also the need to make sometimes tough decisions. You need to understand the goals. You need to understand the objectives of your startup. You need to be able to analyze all the data that is put in front of you, and you need to make decisions. And you need to remember one thing. Sometimes you feel like it's hard to take a decision, and then you say, I will take the decision later. And in many cases, taking no decision is still a decision which you already took. The fact that you delayed in taking a decision may be important and may be actually a decision in itself. Fail fast. My opinion, this is a concept which used to be unheard of in Romania. Let's assume that your product or your startup fails. That means that you failed. But this is wrong. So this is wrong in so many ways, and I'm happy to see that people starting to change thinking how we think about failure in Romania. So what fail fast means is that you should test your ideas. It's good to have ideas, as many ideas as possible. You should test them, and you should do this as quickly as possible. And if they are not working, you need to fail. You need to move to a different idea. You must treat a failure like an opportunity. So when you fail, you just discovered that something is not working. You have additional knowledge now that you had before the failure. This is not the end of the road. It's an opportunity to learn and to pivot to a new approach. And instead of spending years to have the perfect application, the perfect idea, and then wait to launch it, it's best to start small and test your concept with beta customers. This way you can learn from the feedback from the customers, and you can make improvements before scaling your application. And if you invest too much time or too much money or too much other resources into an idea that in the end fails, it will be very hard to let it go. So that's why it's important to test your idea and to recognize if it's not a good idea and fail it. And don't fear about judgment from everybody. Just go to your next idea and do it again and do it again. Talking about risks, innovation, it's only about risks. You cannot innovate anything if you're not risking. And sometimes those risks, they don't pay off. But without taking the risks, you will never discover something. You will just go on the easy path. If you want to do something that can change the game, you need to take risks. And you need to be comfortable with that. I've reached out to the funny acronym, which is VUCA. This comes from volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's a term used in industries like business, military contexts, and this describes the challenging and unpredictable nature of the world where we live today. Volatility, that refers to the speed and the rate of change in the market, in our lives. We can see sudden, unpredictable fluctuations in market conditions or how the consumers behave or other factors that can impact us. And only if we look in the last few years, we have seen a pandemic. We saw a war in Europe. We saw increased inflation. All of these will affect any startup. And if we look to the future, we don't know what's coming for us. So this is volatility. Uncertainty, it's lack of predictability. You don't have a certainty in a business environment, and this comes from changes in technology. We had clouds coming over us. We had containers coming over us. Now everybody's talking about edge. So things will change in technology. 5 years in technology is like a completely new world. The systems and processes these days, they are incredibly complex, and that complexity can result from a multitude of factors. That's always a bigger and bigger number of stakeholders, regulations from different authorities, global economic conditions. This comes over us, a big inflation in US and Western Europe. It will come to Romania as well at some point. And ambiguity, that's a lack of clarity. Sometimes it's not easy to understand what is the situation or what's the problem is. And this can be, sometimes it can be difficult on your mind. And especially as an entrepreneur, sometimes you are alone. And There is a saying in military environments. I was once in the army. So, the saying is, no plan survives contact with the enemy. And this is true also for business. And when we're thinking that environment is volatile, is uncertain, it's complex, and it's full of ambiguity, still it's important to have a plan, but it's equally important to be prepared to adjust the plan when circumstances that we were thinking of changed. So no plan will be foolproof. You need to have a plan, but you also need to be able to pivot. You need to adapt quickly to the plan. Now about the idea of selling the product. There is a phrase which it's I would say it's common mantra for entrepreneurs. It's build it and they will come. That suggests if you create the greatest product of your time, the customers will just come and use it. But the reality is usually this is not the case. Maybe sometimes it is, but most of the times it isn't. And instead of this saying, I would use more something like sell it or they won't come. You need to actively sell, you need to actively market your product in order to attract customers. And this means that even from the beginning, you need to think, how are you going to market your product? How are you going to build your customer base? And for that, you need to start with market research. What is your target audience? What are they looking for in a product or in a service? And you need to use all this information to change your product and marketing strategy as required. You need to develop a strong brand. Your brand is what sets you apart from competitors, and that's a connection with your customers. But you need to invest time in developing a strong brand. It's not coming as default. You need to build a strong online presence. In this day, of course, you need to have a strong online. You need to have a well-designed website. You need to be active on social media. You need to have a search engine optimization strategy, but I'll talk more about this in a little later. And speaking of VUCA, you need to constantly evaluate and adjust. So you do your marketing strategy, but then you need to always analyze the data, see what's working, see what's not working, and change your marketing strategy. Previously, Christian talked about the product, and he talked about a few questions. I have some notes here. So he said, for which group is this product, and which are the needs of my customers? And I'll try to show you one way which can help you to answer to these questions. And I'll talk about customer validation, which involves getting the feedback from potential customers and the way to test and validate your ideas before investing too much money into building the product. You need to start with a hypothesis, and you need to begin by defining what is your business idea, and you will always make a set of assumptions about your target market and what they need. And this is your starting point for your efforts in regards to customer validation. You need to identify your target customers. You can use social media or forums or other channels to identify potential customers, and you can reach out to them and you can ask their feedback on your idea. You can conduct surveys and even one-to-one interviews to get feedback from potential customers. But you need to be careful what what do you ask? You need to ask open-ended questions. So don't ask questions which the customer will respond yes or no. So ask them open-ended questions, let them talk, and that will be better for you to understand what exactly they need or what exactly their problems are. And in the end, you need to create a minimum viable product. So build a simple version of your product, which doesn't include everything that you have in mind. So make it what is the simple version of your app? Build the simple one without many features. Just choose one feature, maybe the most important feature, and test it with some early adopters, with some beta customers, and get the feedback from them, and refine and improve your product. Because most of the times, what you see is not what customer sees, and you need to understand what they see and what they want, and how you can satisfy their needs. Digital marketing. I mentioned before, also Christian talked about promotion earlier. But digital marketing is the use of digital channels and technologies to promote your product or your service and build brand awareness in the end. And there are several components which you can use to build your strategy. Your website is the first point of contact. So between your brand and potential customer, this is the first thing that most of them will see. As I said before, well designed, but easy to navigate and optimized. Talking more now about search engine optimization. This is the process of optimizing your website and the content from your website to rank higher in the search engine result pages. When you're searching something on Google or Bing or whatever your favorite search engine is, how often do you go to the second page? A few times, probably. How about the 9th page? Maybe never. There are usually hundreds of thousands of websites which are competing for the same key phrase. And search engine optimization, this can help you to achieve a better positioning, which in return will drive more traffic from the search engines to your website. You also need to use, of course, social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. All of them, they offer powerful tools, and you need to choose the media platforms where your customers are. If you have a business app, maybe you use LinkedIn. If you have something which relates to younger generation, maybe you go on TikTok. Pay-per-click advertising, that's involving paying for ads, appearing in search engine or on websites or on different media platforms. And that's also an effective way if you look careful at how much you need to pay for bringing one customer to your website. And then if you look at how many customers you need to have on your website to convert them into paying customers, then it's easy to see if this is effective or not. And because this is about costs, finances is not is not something usually taken care of, but this is crucial if you want to run a startup. And it's important to understand how you can manage your finances, because you want to be sustainable on long term, and you want to be able to show growth. So first thing first, you need to create a budget. You need to monitor and stick to the budget, and this needs to reflect your incomes and your expenses. And you should include all expenses, marketing costs, rent, utilities, technology expenses, employee salaries, laptops that you buy, and sticking to a budget and always looking at the budget, you can avoid overspending, and you need to make sure you have enough cash flow to cover your expenses. And cash flow, that's also important, and that's about the movement of money in and out of your company. And sometimes there is a confusion. Being profitable, so it's not the same as having cash flow. So you can have a big profit, but only on paper. If the customers, they don't pay you because they have, they pay you at 90 days, then you will have a cash problem, which may be really problematic. Accounting, the tax management, this is also critical when you do a startup, and it's important to understand your tax obligations. It's important to comply with the low tax, with all the regulations. Sometimes it's difficult, especially in Romania. Things change in a very fast way, and what is right today may be wrong after 1 month or so. So accounting is boring, is not exciting, I need to admit, but you need to have an understanding of the accounting. So you need to choose your accountant wisely. You need to have a very good relationship with your accountant. Financial reporting, that's sometimes is done is looked at the same as accounting, but financial reporting is different than accounting. This is essential for you to understand if your startup is healthy or not. You need to have a little understanding, or somebody close to you which can translate to you some financial statements like balance sheets, like cash flow statement, because you really need to understand where is your revenue, where are your expenses, what is your cash flow. And this will all just help you to make informed decision and adjust your strategy. Maybe you don't have the proper distribution channel, or maybe your price is too small. Okay. Back to the conclusion. Digital entrepreneurship, in my opinion, it's a field which evolves rapidly. So you need to be prepared for a lot of changes. That's a complex approach to the life. It will affect your personal life. Sometimes it's difficult to, extract from the business, to separate business life from home life. And you need to be fluent in so many areas to be succeeded in the world today. So if you want to build a successful team, if you want to inspire innovation, you need to be an effective leader. And you need to embrace these concepts of VUCA, because it will help you over time to navigate all this environment, and which is, uncertain, is it changing? Everything is changing. So points in success: validate your customer needs, sell your product. It will not sell by itself. You need to sell it. Test your ideas and fail fast. If they are not working, go to the next idea. But always think why the previous idea failed, and learn something from that and apply that to the next idea. Digital marketing, very important. Financial management, extremely important, because otherwise you are on your way to get broke. So these are the concepts that I wanted to talk to you about today. This is my view on what is required to be a successful entrepreneur. And now it's time for Q&A. If no question, then I'm giving back to Bogdan?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gheoc. Bogdan, you have the floor. And please tell something about Amber and yourself.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that. Let me just find the screen. Okay. So
yeah,
yes,
we can see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. So I'm here to talk to you about a few tips and tricks that I wish I knew before my first game jam or app jam. A bit about myself. So my name is Bogdan, but besides my family, no one calls me like that. Everyone knows me as Meme. I've been in the industry of gaming since 2005. I started as a game tester. I worked on more than 20 projects until now, from big project to really small mobile project. What I found out is that I love making games, no matter how big or small they are. Right now, I'm a senior lead level designer at Amber Studio. I transit from making games to helping young people into this industry and help them find their journey and grow on their journey through the industry. Amber Studio, it's a Romanian gaming company. It was created by people that are in the industry for more than 20 people. We started only in Romania, and right now we are on, if I'm not mistaken, 4 continents with more than 1,000 people in the company. I'm a really big gamer. You can't be a designer of games if you don't like games. I've been playing games since my first PC back in 1998. I love movies. I try to watch a movie at least once a week. It's something that relax. It's something that also helps me be more creative. And I love my dog. Actually, I love all the dogs, but I love my dog the most. So that's about me. Let's talk about game jam or app jam. So what are game jams? Well, it's an event where you actually make a game or an app playable at least or usable. You can do this alone or with a team. Usually these events have a team on which you will have to make your game or your app, but not all the time. Sometimes you just need to make a game in that period. And these game jams or app jams are timed. Most of them are 48 hours. They start on Friday evening and they end on Sunday. But there are game jams for 24 hours, 1 week, and also one month. And depending on the time that you have for each game jam, you can allocate more time on some stuff that you want to do or another. So what are game jams about? Well, they are about making a game or an app. If you never made a game, this is the perfect place for you to try. Maybe you have an idea, or maybe you want to see how a game is made. You have some skills that you can use. This is the place for you to try it out. This is the place for you to share your idea, to share your skills, and to try and make a game or an app. This is also a place for you to practice your teamwork soft skills. This is the place to understand how you are working with others on the same project in a limited time. This is the place for you to understand that your teammates are one of your biggest assets. As much as we want to think that we can do everything alone, this is the moment that we can find out that we need other people to be able to create a game or an app. Of course, this is the place where communication is key. When you are in a team, you need to communicate with your team as much as possible, as fast as possible. And also, this is the moment where you need to be able to communicate with a lot of people because you want to have a lot of feedback in the short time that you have during the event. So let's see what are some of the things that I wish I knew before my first game jam. First and foremost, you need to go with what you know. Don't try and reinvent the wheel on the first game jam or on a game jam. You have a limited time, even if it's a week or if it's a month or 24 hours. You have a limited time to do and try and create the game or the app. It's a moment. Spend some time before the game jam or the app jam to plan out your game concept or your app concept, to plan out mechanics, to plan out goals, to plan out what do you want to get from the app or on the game. Try and brainstorm and research concept before starting doing anything, and create a simple document with clear objective and mechanics or features that you want to add to it. And of course, don't be afraid to ask for help. It's very, very important during a short period of time, like a week or a month, to be able to ask for help when you are stuck. Next, keep things simple. The best feature is the one that you already have implemented because it's the one that you already can see it in your app or in your game. It's the one that you know it's working. For games, don't plan for multiplayer or complex AI or anything that involves a lot of work. A game jam is usually a short amount of time, so it's best to keep your game concept and mechanics simple and manageable. Focus on only two core mechanics or features. Use simple graphic and assets to save time. Don't try to get the best if you don't have the time for it. Also, it's very important to not get too attached to your idea. It's important to be flexible during a game jam. So don't get too attached to your initial idea. Be willing to pivot and adjust as needed based on feedback and progress. Be open to feedback and criticism. Be willing to change your idea if it doesn't work out. Don't be too attached to a specific feature or mechanics. Funny story here. When I started, when I wanted to join the design team, the first thing my mentor told me was that no matter how much you love your design and how much work you have put into it, there is always someone that will come and will give you a feedback that will make you change everything. So in a game jam, you don't have a year or 3 years to work on the game. You only have a small amount of time. So be sure to keep it simple. First, have an idea. Before you actually start working, think about what you want to have, what you want to create. Don't overthink. Don't make the plan too big. Just have a small idea, put it on writing on a paper, in a notepad, but have an idea before you actually start working on it. And also take some time to ask the following questions. What will my app do that isn't currently being done? This way, you will try to understand that your app is something different from what's already on the market. Also, you'll try to find out what your app will try to solve, what problem your app will try to solve. What are your goals with the app that you're trying, or with the game, of course. First and foremost, you should think about your goals for the app, as these goals will drive many of the other decisions that you'll have to make down the road. Setting realistic and obtainable goals at the start of your app building journey will give you solid foundation on which to make further decision and make many other questions clear to answer. Who is going to use my app? It's a very important question, because this is something that you should be able to answer easily before expending resources to create and maintain an app. Try to put yourself in your customer shoes, in your user or player shoes. Try to think if they are excited about this app. Would you see them using your app? Would you tell your friends about it? If you can be honest with yourself about those answers, it can save you a world of frustration later. Think about what platform should you develop the app or the game for. This is a complicated question. It is going to depend greatly on what you need your app to do and what is your end game. When thinking about mobile games or mobile apps, there are mainly two players. There is the iOS and Android. But with this simple choice come many other decisions, such as whether to write the app natively or use cross-platform technology. There is a lot of thinking on where do you want the app to be. And also think about what can you do yourself and what do you need help with. Building a mobile app or a game from scratch, it's hard work. It would be wise to perform a self-evaluation of what you're capable of doing, both in skills and available time. This will help you put together a clear list of what work you can take and what help you'll need to seek out. Some services to keep in mind when it comes to a game or an app are design, front-end, back-end, project management, customer support, and of course, marketing and social media. Now, code for functionality. So what does this mean? It's really nice to have a very beautiful code that everyone can understand easily, but you have a limited time here. So you need to code fast for functionality. You need to code that it works, not that you'll be able to understand it in 3 weeks, in 1 month, or after the event. Yes, if you want to continue with the project after that, you will need to rethink the code. But for the event, keep it functionality. Just make it to work. Aim small. This is simple. Basically, don't complicate things by adding too many features. If you have extra time, then you'll be able to add feature. But if not, just add one that works and work from there. You want to save some time, maybe do some procedural stuff. Don't overthink on that part. If you do not have time, start cutting stuff that will take too much to fix or to implement. Go small, one mechanic, one function, one character, one screen. Don't try to implement too many features or ideas. Stick to the essential feature and mechanics, and avoid overcomplicating the game mechanics or the app functions that you want to have in there. Have a definition of done. What does this, test. Testing, it's one of the most important part in an app or a game. There is something that in design we call tunnel vision, and this is something that when you have an idea and you just stick to your idea and implement that idea because you think that's the best thing to do. But when you give your app or your game to someone to play it, then you find out that your idea doesn't really match with other player or other users. So play test by asking people to play your game or use your app and listen to what they have to say. Game jams are a great opportunities to connect with others and collaborate. Don't work in isolation. Instead, reach out to others for feedback, input, and support. Also, if you can connect with other participants and form teams, attend events and meetings to network and get feedback. Stop adding features and start polish. You want to have the best that you can at the end. If your app or your game will have 10 features, but none are finished or they don't function the way you wanted, it's not so nice when the user will get to it. It's better to have 1 or 2 features that are really good, that are polished, that work the way intended, than to have 10 that don't. Don't forget to use platforms like Discord or Slack to communicate with others. Also, obstacles and challenges are a natural part of the game jam process. So don't get discouraged if things don't go as planned. Instead, use those obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow. Stay positive and motivated despite setbacks. Learn from failures and mistakes, and be willing to pivot and adjust based on feedback. Fix issues. Don't get caught in small bugs that are not so important, but fix issues of features that don't work and that you want to have in your game. So, definition of done. What does this mean? It means that you need to set rules of what done means for a feature, for an interface, for a design. Everything needs to be clear when it's done, when it has the when it does what you wanted to do, when it looks like you wanted to do. For this, I suggest using management tools like Trello, using milestone, sprints, reconvene with the team as much as possible and discuss on everything. Be sure that when something is submitted, you are able to say that it's completed. It's the way that it was designed. Time management in game jam is crucial. So make sure you use your time efficiently and stay focused on your goal. Break down tasks in small, manageable pieces. And also you can use productivity technique like the Pomodoro technique. Basically, it's a technique where you work for an amount of time, you take a break, you work again, break, and after 3 or 4 cycles, you take a big break. Don't work continuously. You need those breaks. It will help you a lot in the end. Now, concentrate on basic. At the end, you want to create an experience for the player or for the user of your app. Think about the camera, think about the controls, think about what you want to give the player or the user to see, a character. Think about how your game ends if you're making a game. Think about the fail condition and think if they have one, of course. These are some stuff that you need to think for the end of the app or the game, and what you want to get in front of the player or of the user. Quality in game jams. So from my experience, the most important thing that you can get into a game, it's humor. If you make players happy, laugh while playing your game, then you win. It doesn't matter if you're first or last. If you make players laugh, you win. Stick to simple graphics, but make them clear and easy to understand. If you have time to improve on the graphic, that's fine. But stick to something simple that is easy to understand. Same with the controls. If you make a game, be sure that it's easy to understand for a player without needing explanation of what he needs to do or what he needs to press while playing. And when it comes to games, above all, gameplay is the king. It doesn't matter if you have an awesome interface or a great story. If the gameplay doesn't match or it's not something that works with your game, then this might not work. So think about the gameplay a lot when you make your game. And the last one, and this is of course only for games. When in doubt, go 2D, because making a 2D games takes a lot less time than making a 3D. Of course, you can, depending on the rules of a game jam, you can use assets from asset store and stuff like that. But even so, 2D art, it's really, really easy to use, and it's the easy way to go. And of course, if you think even 2D it's too much for you, you can even go to a text adventure game. If you have a great story and your game it's about the story, then you can even go with a text adventure. Now, I have some smaller tips for you. These are something that I think everyone should use, no matter if it's a game jam or a app jam. So first and foremost, eat, sleep, and exercise. Don't work continuously. Just take some breaks, revitalize your body, and your mind will come after it. If you're stuck, wash your face. It's important to take breaks during a game jam to prevent burnout and keep your creativity flowing. Take short breaks to rest and recharge, and use that time to get feedback from others. Stay hydrated, well-fed, and rest to maintain your energy level. It's really, really important. Now, when you make a game and you only get to have one level, call it the battle arena. There is no problem in that. If the sound is broken, then just make the story about the character being deaf. Should be no problem regarding this. If you have issues with your frame rates, making a turn base should be easy to transform a game into something like this. If you have no story or character, just making an arcade. Lots of us played those arcade games that had no story, that had just characters going on the screen, just a small character, one of them being Mario. At the start, no one knew the story, and the character was just a small dot on the screen. And of course, if you have no gameplay and only story, just make a visual novel. It's still something interesting. It's still something to see after a game jam. If you have no game over condition, just make it a survivor game. See how much you can survive in the game. If it really doesn't work, if it really sucks, just make proud in the fact that you made an app or a game. It's something that you wanted to do at the start, and you were able to do it, even if it's not the exact thing that you wanted to have at the end. And don't forget to have fun. Game jam or app jams are experience, and it's about you. Don't get too caught in the pressure to succeed. Enjoy the process and learn from it. Focus on the creativity process rather than the result. Enjoy the collaboration and the social aspect of the game jam, and celebrate your accomplishment regarding of the outcomes. So if you have any questions, now is the time. If you want to contact me, that's my email. You can find me there. Thank you, and questions if you have.
Hello, I do have a question.
Hello.
How old were you when you created your first game?
Oh, well, I started in the industry in 2005, and I was 23 back then. But I started in the QA department, and I moved to the production department in 2008. So at 26 years old, I worked on my first game. But right now, I joined a lot of game jams as mentor usually, and I see a lot of kids that have so much knowledge that we didn't have back in the days, and come with great ideas even before their 7th, 8th grade. So to be fair, age right now is not so important. It really matters if you like what you do, then you'll be able to understand it and create it.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Maria, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bogdan. I want to tell you that Bogdan was also in the jury for students from gymnasium last year. Probably this year, if he has time, he will come again, and probably for students from high school. So please, how to say, implement what he said, because if he's in the jury, of course, you'll be on the same page, let's say like that. Thank you again, Bogdan from Amber Studios. And now I will share my screen. Okay. At the end, you have to send us some deliverables. This is the term used in projects in general. When you finish something, it is called deliverable. And your deliverables will be, of course, the code itself, a pitch, a video of 3 minutes in which you explain your idea, why you think it's useful, and so on. A demo video, which will be different from the pitch video, a demo in which we want you to make, let's say, some clicks and on your application. We want to see the functionalities of your application in the video. This will help us before going in the code to have an idea of your functionalities. And then we want also a business plan, for you to make a business plan. This business plan should be based on the things you heard today. Normally, a business plan is a very long document, let's say like that, but we don't want to stress you with that. We'll give you a template, and you have to fill in this template. The template is the one from Business Canvas model. So it's a well-known template for business plans called Business Canvas model. You can look for Google if you want to learn more. We didn't take all the sections from the Business Canvas model. We just picked 5, which we think it's are the main ones, let's say like that. And I will shortly explain you how you have to fill it in. Of course, project name means the name of your application, but I would like to see here not the name of the team, okay, but the name of the application. Okay, if you tell me just, I will use as an example Spotify. For me, it's not sufficient. I like to see the name of your app, and also in parentheses, something like an application for listening music, or for searching music, or for listening, or for
kind
whatever.
Of a motto.
Or a motto or something like that. So not just the name, exactly, not just the name of the app. Then I want to see here the team members. In the team members, of course, you have to put your names, and also it is nice to see the name of the team. You know, the name of the team can be different from the name of the application. Then here, I like to see idea in short. In short, I think it would be enough, something like 300 characters, or I don't know, not half a page, but 1/4 of the page, so not more. Then we have the 5 sections. You have to fill it in. Product, problem we solve. So, of course, I said in the opening that your application should be useful to the society. So not useful only to you. Of course, if you have a problem and you decide that, let's say, all the students from high school level have this problem, then you can try to solve it through your application. But don't consider you as an individual here. So take a problem from our society, describe it, and say that your product will try to solve this problem. In general, in theory, when we develop a new project or a system, we Develop it because we have a need in the society which is not solved, and our product or system or project will solve that need. Or when new technologies are available and we can re-implement an existing system with new technologies, thus this new system is performant, is better than the old one. So another thing, you could say that there are systems which do exactly what you want to do, only that your system or app or whatever is better from the technological point of view than the existent ones. Probably this is pretty hard for you at your level, and I think you should focus more on the need of your you want to solve. Okay, again, short, so not too many words. A quarter of page is enough. Our target group. Here we have to think of our users and describe clearly the users. For example, it's not enough to say old persons or students, or you have to say old persons, age between living in Romania, in a rural area. For example, last year we had a winner who wanted to sell or to help to sell products or to help the producers of those products from rural areas. So describe with numbers and exact terms your users and the features of your users. Also think that your app, of course, maybe not till 10th of June when this competition is done, maybe after will be launched, so it will be used. And there are also regulations in each country, for example, in China, or other regulations than in Romania. So your app has to respect the regulations of that country. This means that here I want to read that your target group is from Europe, from US, from, I don't know, Romania, whatever, as detailed as possible. Then we go to the third section, smart objectives. Maybe some of you know about this word SMART. It's an acronym. In our case, this acronym comes from specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Let's talk about each of them. Specific means, I will give an example. You want to make an app to help children read better. You have to tell me here the age of the children and so on. And here in specific, you have to tell me in what way your app will learn them read better. So so the word better is not enough. Exactly what this app will offer. Measurable means that you have to use metrics, numbers, formulas to calculate your progress, to prove, for example, that your application, your app is needed. You can search for Google, or you can make a survey by yourself, and you can say in Romania there are whatever number of young adults age between 18 and 21 which need this thing, and you have to put the reference and then say that this is your target group, and say that maybe your app will be used by this number, and in this way you prove that your application is useful. Also, measurable means that at some point you have to check if your application is okay. For example, in the development phase. Maybe you have an algorithm behind it and you want a time response when your users click on something of 5 seconds. So this 5 seconds is a metric in a way, which can be put here in measurable. Achievable. Achievable means that you have to not to say that you will go on the moon, for example, or your app will be used by people living in the moon. So something which can be done by you with your knowledge during these 2 months can be sold in a specific time frame after that. Let's say in 1 year after you finish it, you want to have a certain number of users and so on. So something realistic. This means achievable. Now we have the term realistic also. The difference between achievable and realistic in these SMART objectives is that achievable means that you can do by yourself, and realistic is something connected with the current society. And time bound means that you have to work in a certain time frame. Your time frame for developing it is till, I don't know, it is written on the website, 28th, I think, of May. On 1st of June, we'll give you the name of the finalists, and on 10th of June, the finalists will present their application. So this is something, this is a time frame for you for developing it, but you can say here the time frame for making it public, exploitation plans. Exploitation means you want to see it used and maybe to gain money from it, and so on. So SMART objectives are, let's say, clear things you have in mind before starting to implement it. You have to think always at these questions: who uses your application, what, for what they use it, when they use it, where they use it, and why they use it. It's an app, so if it's an app, they need mobile phones and they need internet. So it is possible in certain areas you don't have signal. So where? You have to say where it is used and so on. Or you help children, for example, read better from rural areas. I don't know if all the children from rural areas from Romania have mobile phones. So you have to think of all these things. Okay. Related to price. The word used here is monetization. What does it mean? Even if your application will be useful for society, has the goal to be useful for society, of course you can think at some way of gaining money. Why you need so money? You need those money, of course, for your life, in order to be able to improve the application or to have money for eating, living, and so on. You have to sell this app. Now there are various ways to sell apps. For example, you can put each user to pay a certain amount of money for certain functionalities, and to increase the money they have to pay for other functionalities and so on. You can give it for free for a certain period and then ask for money. Or maybe you have in mind the plan to obtain sponsors and to give it totally free. Or maybe an app to pay once for it and then no other costs or maybe include videos in your app. Probably everybody used apps, and you saw that sometimes we have to look at videos. The app is free, but you gain money from those for allowing those videos to be seen in your app by the users. And practically you get the money from the ones who use the videos to promote their product and so on. So there are a lot of ways to obtain money from your app. You have to say here your plan for that. Promotion. How and where we market. Again, a little bit, you have to say again a little bit something about your users and where do you plan to advertise your application in order to be known and used by those users. And I think this is it for the business plan. Now, I'm a teacher of not just programming, but also software methodologies in development. And I heard Bogdan from Amber Studios telling you about sprints, and maybe you don't know what are sprints. And I feel the need of telling you something about some general things about software development. So there are some methodologies, or let's say ways to develop software projects, like from waterfall, iterative, and so on to agile. Now in companies, usually agile methodologies are used. And in these agile methodologies, we have sprints. Sprints are, let's say, activities, or not activities, stages of your plan. And after each stage, you have to meet in your team and talk about what you did and what you do in the next stage. And in agile development, these stages, which are called sprints, should be small. In your case, the total duration of the project is small, 2 months. So probably you have to make sprints once per week, and then during the second month, I think twice per week, in order to finish it in time. So you have to have a plan with stages. But before that plan, of course, you have the objectives, which are clearly stated in the business canvas. Then you have to establish the requirements of your project. Requirements are functionalities. Functionalities have to be connected to objectives. So you implement the things you wrote in objectives. But functionalities are more technical. Means the modules of the application, the interface, where you click, and so on. After the requirements, you can think of the design of the application. Normally, you should have first a high-level view of the architecture of your application. There are well-known architectures like 3 layers, 4 layers, model view controller, and so on. There is no need to read about that, but if you do, we are glad that you did. But at your level, it's okay to tell us the modules of your application, the parts of your application when we talk about architecture. Then the detailed design means that each module has a lot of parts, and normally you should think of that. And then after this detailed design, you have the implementation itself, which is done in sprints, in those stages, sorry. And then you have testing. Testing means checking that functionalities are working and that are aligned with the objectives. Now, related to this testing, I advise you not to let the testing after you implement it, but doing in parallel. So you implement a module, you test the module, you correct it, optimize it, and so on. So this is the modern way to test while you develop. Of course, there are automatic testing frameworks, but you will learn them during faculty. Now, when I say testing, it's okay to test that you don't have errors in your code and the functionalities are working. This is about, let's say, how I think you should plan your development. And I think it's sufficient for today related to this business plan. We will put this canvas on the website upb.ro. You can download it from there. If you feel the need, of course, after filling the template, if you feel the need to explain us more about something, you can put always second, third page as annex, okay, as extra thing.
I have a question.
Please.
Can we make a PowerPoint for it?
In the deliverable phase, you don't make a PowerPoint. The deliverables are code, this business plan, and 2 videos, small videos, 3 minutes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if we can make the Canva in a PowerPoint, not just complete it.
Okay. If you want to make it in a PowerPoint, but respecting this template, yes, you can do it.
Okay, thank you.
Then the finalists. So after, let's say that everybody succeeds in finishing the project in time and sending us the deliverables on GitHub, we will select the finalists. The finalists will make also a PowerPoint when they present us live the project. Okay, so that PowerPoint is another thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if there are other questions related to this business plan or related to the organization, this is your chance to ask me.
I just want to be sure that a team is not existing. I don't know what to say. We choose the team, right? But we need to help the society with it.
So the team means the team members registered in the formula, in the registration formula.
Theme.
Theme. You mean the subject, the real the subject. Yes, the subject, the general subject or theme of the competition was and always will be an application useful for society.
Okay. So we don't have a particular subject.
No, you have to. This is the idea.
Okay.
And should be as original as possible.
Okay. Thank you. Means a lot.
No problem. Other questions? If there are no other questions, I want to thank you for participation. Also, thank you very much to our lecturers. And if you watch again the videos, maybe today was too much or I don't know, and you watch again the videos which are available on the YouTube channel of Fields, which is @YouTube/@UPB Fields, and also will be available on the competition website. And if you have questions after that, you can write them on the support WhatsApp group in which there are only the leaders of your teams, or on the Discord server also, everybody is on Discord, or ask any volunteer or ask me and I will give the question to further. I will send the question to our lecturers and I will give you the response. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend. Go hardcore